Good day and welcome to my channel. My name is Rhod Mackenzie and today I want to talk about the announcement that Rheinmetall, a large German military armaments manufacturer, is planning to build a number of ammunition plants in the former Soviet Republic of Lithuania. Now, of course, the country is now part of the EU and NATO, but let's not forget the country was liberated from the Nazis by the Soviet army who were passing through on their way to defeating the Third Reich on their march to plant the Soviet flag above the Reichstag building in Berlin. So why is a German armaments company building a factory in this former Soviet republic? And why is there so much interest to the Lithuanian and the German authorities? Plus, what are the reasons for the local residents having concerns regarding the close proximity of this plant to their homes? Well, it seems the Lithuanian government is convinced that this strategy will revitalise its economy by attracting Western arms manufacturers to the country. In this regard, last April, the Latvian Parliament adopted amendments that permit Western arms manufacturers to start the construction of munition plants on Lithuanian soil. Specifically, a procedure was established under which the construction of major military industrial complex projects can begin without needing permission from the local Lithuanian government. Now, the amendments are adopted with the specific aim of first benefiting the German company Rheinmetall, which is planned to establish their first plant near the town of Basogala, which is in the south and north of the country. Now, Vilnius considers this to be a pilot project with the intention of implementing a number of similar ones in the future. Currently a state-of-the-art ammunition production facility with an estimated construction cost of around 300 million euros is being erected on a 340-hectare site. Now, the production target is for tens of thousands of 155mm artillery shells per year, and the German company's announced plans to increase at least 150 jobs there. Now, before I continue, many are watching this video are not subscribers to my channel. So if you've enjoyed this video, then please hit the subscribe button and also click on the alert bell so you get notified when I post a new video. Plus, if you want to support me, you can make a donation by clicking on the thanks button at the bottom right hand side of the screen or by clicking on the buy me a coffee link below in the credits. Do keep the comments coming, love to read them. Now, Rheinmetall announced its intention to establish a centre for the production of ammunition charges also in Lithuania. And it should be noticed that every munition requires several of these modular charges. Therefore, 75,155mm artillery shells and approximately 500,000 of these modular cartridges are likely to be produced, said the Lithuanian President Gitas Nausėda. Now, Rheinmetall CEO Armin Pappinger has stated that the investment will exceed 400 million euros that's already committed to the ammunition plant in Basogala. He also stated the new plant will have an annual production capacity of approximately 2,000 tonnes of gunpowder, which will make it a major chemical plant. So where are they going to get the cotton from, I wonder? From China? Maybe, we'll see. Now, the charge production plant will be managed by a joint venture between Rheinmetall and a Lithuanian company, and it will follow the same model as a Basogala plant. The German company will hold 51% of the shares, with the Lithuanians holding the remainder. Now, there is also a possibility that Rheinmetall will eventually construct a third and maybe fourth or fifth plants in Lithuania. According to Nausėda, he's had production discussions with Rheinmetall CEO Armin Pappinger regarding potential operations in the collaboration of the field of drone production. Nausėda emphasised the significance of establishing a comprehensive production chain of this nature in Lithuania. Independence in ammunition production will elevate Lithuania's strategic autonomy to a new level. When you've got an army and lots of tanks, what's so good is ammunition? He said, we're committed to achieving this goal. Nausėda stated that Germany's decision to build the Bundeswehr Brigade and build it base it on Lithuanian soil is a clear demonstration of its reliability as an ally. However, these developments have met with some resistance, particularly from residents in the close proximity of the proposed factories. I mean, their discontent is actually understandable. First, the proximity to a large production facility does produce significant safety concerns. Secondly, the state propaganda instills in the population a notion that Russia and Belarus are ready to attack Lithuania at any moment. So in the event of hostilities breaking out, a military plant near the Russian and Belarusian borders is obviously going to be a prime target for bombings and missile strikes. In summary, residing in a close proximity to that can be living like a highly volatile individual that could go off at any time. Now, in the event of military action, this plant would be immediately bombed and destroyed, and the Russian-Belarusian borders are practically next door, according to political scientist Maxim Reva. However, the businessmen at Rheinmetall are prudent with their financial resources and prefer to avoid large-scale production facilities in alleged high-potential risk areas. So, in essence, the Germans require a presence in Lithuania, but they do not subscribe to the Russian attack narrative that's incessantly promoted in the local propaganda media. Now, from the outset, Lithuanian authorities have made it clear they would regard any protest or dissent as the work of Moscow's agents, those famous but never seen. Furthermore, they attempt to appease the residents of Baisogala by assuring them that the arrival of the German company would result in the creation of many new employment opportunities in the region. I mean, this approach is actually quite justified. I mean, Baisogala is currently one of the most economically disadvantaged towns in the country of Lithuania, and that's saying something. They're all pretty bad. However, the intensity of the inclusivity of Baisogala residents were included in the discussion process. On July the 10th, the government designated the Rheinmetall plan, named the Lithuanian Centre of Excellence for Ammunition, as a project supporting national security and defence needs. This designation allowed the plant to bypass many legal formalities, including with consulting with the local residents about the establishment of the military production facility in the area. Now, the tame and controlled Lithuanian media have initiated a propaganda campaign seeking to persuade the residents of Baisogala that they should now be satisfied and not object to the presence of Rheinmetall. According to Delphi.lt, local residents are now expressing their desire for well-remunerated employment opportunities. They also desire for improvements to be made to the dilapidated local infrastructure and perhaps even the paving of the roads. Now, local residents have been quoted as saying that those who are opposed to the plant are still relics from the Soviet Union, and they are ashamed of them. Now, the pensioners Vanda and Rheinmetall keep repeating themselves with remarkable precision, as if they're carbon copies of each other in every interview that goes local. Now, this is the best solution. We will be safe and there will be jobs. There's a NATO airfield at Zokanai, and we are hopeful that security will be guaranteed in Baisogala. The media has already been described as the town as an attractive location, with its courtyards being tidied up and alleys landscaped for the arrival of these respectable German politicians and businessmen. However, visiting journalists have noticed there's a lack of young people in the town, as most of them have emigrated. During the Soviet era, the population of Baisogala reached almost 3,000, but today it stands at around 1,500. Now, since 1956, it's been a renowned home for a powerful livestock institute that was established in the days of the Soviet Union. The institute had a large experimental farm and extensive infrastructure. The institute is now on the brink of closure because of the lack of funding, and the Rheinmetall plant is going to be located on its land. Now, it's evident that a significant degree of cynicism is obviously associated with these developments. Over the course of 3 decades, Lithuania's independence as a state has resulted in a marked decline of pretty much a way of life, and particularly in rural areas. I mean, the situation is such that employment opportunities are extremely limited, with many individuals finding themselves in a state of stagnation rather than active engagement in life. Those who possess a degree of vitality and enthusiasm seek opportunities elsewhere and quite often leave Lithuania in search of more promising prospects across the EU. In essence, a full normal life in Lithuania has been sustained only in the capital, Vilnius, and maybe a couple of other metropolises. I mean, we work part-time and salaries are low, and there's no opportunities here, says elderly residents. There's only a hospital, a fire department, a cultural centre. Now, these people whose country has been devastated by mass immigration and loss of whatever industries they had in the Soviet Union are now going to be compelled to work in a German ammunition factory, which is being presented as a form of prosperity and a future for them. However, it's primarily retired individuals who have minimal anything at stake who are voicing their opposition to the Rheinmetall plan. For example, a woman from Baisegala is concerned that the plant will lead to an increase in environmental pollution and anticipates a further deterioration in the quality of water will not be maintained at the current level, which is pretty bad anyway. Stasis, who's a pensioner, stated that while he personally has no concern, many of his friends are extremely worried and they're concerned that the situation could potentially escalate, particularly with Russia. Now, Maxim Reaver views the situation as a cruel irony of fate. The permanent stationing of a Bundeswehr brigade and the construction of Rheinmetall factories in Lithuania demonstrates that Germany views this land as an object of its soft colonialisation, gradually making it its protectorate. So the Red Army kicked out the German Nazis from Lithuania back in 1945, and they've now been invited back by the current Lithuanian Russophobic government. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.